Hi, everyone. My name's Jason Klein. I'm the Director of P20 Initiatives at Northern Illinois University, and I facilitate the Illinois P20 network, as well as work alongside the Illinois Interactive Report Cards Office on the Illinois Report Card and the Illinois Postsecondary Profiles team.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charlie Roseman. I'm the Data and Outcomes Manager for Education Systems Center at NIU. I support broadly building data systems at state and local levels, and I support our NIU partners from the Illinois Interactive Report Cards team, as well as the P20 network with data-related initiatives in Illinois.
We're really excited to be with you today and to be part of these events. Today we're here to talk about the Illinois Postsecondary Profiles website and the forthcoming release of Path 2 of the second phase of this website that originally launched a year ago. And this path is the occupational profiles that we'll be talking more about. So today we're going to first talk about Path 1, the institutional profiles, which have been up for just under a year, and Charlie will give you some more information about that. Then I will give you a preview of Path 2, the occupational profiles, which will be a great resource for students, families, educators, and counselors at all levels in Illinois. The Illinois Postsecondary Profiles website is a partnership of Illinois' higher education agencies, the Illinois Board of Higher Education, the Illinois Community College Board, and the Illinois Student Assistance Commission. Together, these three agencies work closely with the Illinois Interactive Report Cards Office at Northern Illinois University, who also produces the Illinois Report Card website in the school district in the early childhood through 12th grade K-12 sphere. So this is a partnership between all of them, and along with all of them, Education Systems Center and the Illinois P20 network are also partners in this work on a regular and ongoing basis to both bring the voices of folks from the field to the agencies, as well as to bring this work back out into the field.
So as Jason notes, this has been a collaborative effort from the beginning across state agencies, but also several entities at NIU. And, the work has really been towards a number of different purposes for the Illinois Postsecondary Profiles site. It's really geared towards providing diverse stakeholders with more easily accessible information describing approximately 250 higher education institutions in Illinois. It will be one of the first of its kind in state to take advantage of recent technological developments with infrastructure at the state level that enable display of cross-sector measurement of student success. And that cross-sector measurement is all towards strengthening the data and information provided to these institutions to support alignment and articulation initiatives at local, regional, and also statewide. And it is a pretty busy kind of space in this area in terms of data resources, but there's a ton of value that'll be added by the Postsecondary Profiles site. And our goal is for the profiles to complement and add depth to the existing data resources that are out there. There are also a number of use cases related to this site, both in terms of partnerships, connecting data information across sectors, across education and employment, and helping foster those partnerships between secondary, post-secondary, and workforce users. There's also planning and policy. So the ability to track metrics over time and at institutional program and student subgroup levels will supply users, with evidence to guide planning and policy making. And then in terms of prospective students, the profiles will serve as a complement to those other resources I noted and offer prospective students and their supporters an in-depth and timely look at higher ed institutions across Illinois. And hopefully that look will inform these students' college going decisions. So path 1 is the institutional profiles path. This was the first for the profiles site, and it is really focused on allowing users to engage with the data and information for specific institutions. You'll see here when you visit the site, or soon, once Path 2 is developed, you'll see this kind of entryway and the two paths via these green and purple icons. So there on the left-hand side, you see in green institutional profiles, and you see there the ability to search by school name or criteria. Now, for each institution, there are 2-year institutions, 4-year, public, private. Each institution has its own institutional profile. So you see here on the data summary page for NIU, it includes a number of data points and pieces of information that give users a really great vantage point, a fairly comprehensive vantage point of NIU as an institution. So you have total student enrollment, you have retention year over year, net cost of attendance, number of completions. You have a bit of information as to where NIU is located. They're in DeKalb, and a helpful map. And then also in terms of enrollment, you have some disaggregated information, both by student type, but also by racial ethnic diversity as well. Now, for each institution, you see there on the left-hand side, there are a number of categories of data and metrics available. So they range from enrollment, who's enrolling, what does that enrollment look like across subgroups, affordability, which focuses more on financial aid information, the number of Pell grantees, MAP grantees enrolling. You have progress. So are these students accumulating credit? Are they being retained over year? You have advancement. This is focused on 2-year community colleges. But, are these students, once they enroll, are they transferring out? Are they completing within 2 years, within 4 years? Or are they no longer enrolled? Having that information is quite helpful. Starting at the 2-year level to follow some of these cohorts and get a better handle on how they're advancing through the college. And then lastly, completion. So how many students are completing and in what program areas and program types. One of the great added values of this site is the ability to look at data from multiple institutions. So it's really easy to list these institutions and check out their data. So you see here, you have a number of community colleges: Harper, College of DuPage, College of Lake County, and also Elgin Community College. And for each of them, you see here this breakdown of annual enrollment, but there's the ability to look at a number of the data indicators on the site across all of these institutions. So for particular users, say prospective students, this is a really easy way to get a great look at multiple schools at the same time. And so the institutional profiles, as I noted, it's the first path that's become available for the profiles site. But it's really one of the first of its kind in Illinois in that it's pulling together data from multiple sources, whether state agency, whether IPEDS, whether otherwise. And it's really pulling them together and integrating them in a one-stop shop. And over time, we'll be able to better rely upon agency data specifically and in ways that are, creating a much more timely and ready resource, and one that doesn't necessarily encounter the lags in data and particular indicators that are inherent to say an IPEDS or other resources. And then, the Illinois Postsecondary Profiles itself, it's being developed by the Illinois Interactive Report Cards team at NIU, which also develops and maintains the Illinois Report Card for K-12. So the profiles is really meant to serve as essentially an analog to the report card, but for higher ed. And so the interactive report cards team is able to translate a lot of its experience with the report card, the K-12 report card, to the profiles site, and able to take those experiences and how data are presented there to create a very compelling presentation of data for the profiles. So it's already, with this first launch, in a great place, and over time that presentation will continue to improve.
So thank you, Charlie. Path 1 is unique and adds value, as Charlie mentioned, to what we've had previous to it. With Path 2, we really move into the space where students as early as high school and even middle school, their families, and other users will be able to use this tool to help really engage with the topics around college and career planning, which post-secondary institutions will offer what services to them. And so Path 2 is still under development. As we show screenshots, that's an important caveat as we record this in mid-September of 2020. But we're excited to bring these to you and give you that preview of what it will look like when it rolls out later this fall. So as Charlie showed you earlier, Path 1, if you were to go to the site right now at the time of this recording, only the green circle would show up there to move you into the institutional profiles pathway. When we launch Path 2, the purple occupational profile circle will also appear, and that will allow you to search based on occupation or program. And by program, we refer to area of study, academic major, what you would do in a post-secondary institution, whether that be a community college or a university. One of the features that will roll out is the use of interactive maps to display data. These are engaging, they've become very popular as a way to display data, and these are likely initially to roll out displaying data by community college region. Obviously, post-secondary data is very complex. Charlie alluded to that just a moment ago at the end of his description with regards to Path 1, and that complexity will continue to be true here, but we're working together with the state agencies and the development team to begin playing that out. So this is one feature that will launch and then continue to develop over time. When you move into the occupational profiles themselves, there are two ways that an individual who's interacting with the website can search. First, they can search by area of interest or keyword, and we'll show you that. And second is by the Illinois career pathways that come from the Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act. And so we'll show you each of those in turn. Here, when searching or exploring by an area of interest or a keyword, you see a search box, what people are accustomed to on the internet. There's an advanced search option, and you can go ahead and scroll through the list. There's some filtering criteria on the left, and you can filter by program, again, what one would study in a post-secondary institution, or by occupation, what one would do in a career. Then the other option, the other major button, is to explore by career pathway. And these are the 7 college and career pathways that the Illinois career pathway endorsements offer endorsements in now through the Post-Secondary and Workforce Readiness Act. And occupations fit into at least one of these career pathways. And so these will not narrow down that search quite as much, but if a student knows they're interested in health sciences and technology, then that, for example, is a way to start exploring what careers and what programs, what occupations and what programs are available to them as they move into a post-secondary environment. So again, there are advanced search opportunities and then the filters. Whoa, excuse me. When we do search and filter, we can very quickly narrow this down. So in this example, someone would have typed in mechanical engineer, but then said, I'm just interested in looking at the occupations, not the programs I will participate in the post-secondary institutions. And it narrows down at that point to 2 occupations mechanical engineers and mechanical engineering technicians. And we're continuing to work across the state agencies and with the development team, and eventually, as the site rolls out, with users on trying to filter through the data that is available to make this as useful to prospective users as possible. So this will be an area on which ongoing feedback will be very helpful from users, and we'll show you at the end how to provide that feedback to us. Now, within each occupation, you can drill in and find specific details for the occupation itself. There's employment data with state and national data available to it, everything from what kind of post-secondary experience you'll need. So in this case, a bachelor's degree to be an actuary, that there will be continued on-the-job training, how many openings are typically available per year. And again, you see the data itself continues to present some challenges, and what's exciting about this work is not only what we're presenting to students, but the fact that through this work, we're able to improve that data. So it says there's 165 openings at the state level each year, but only 2 openings at the national level. Those are the kinds of things that by doing this work actually get improved on, and over time, the data gets better. And that's consistently been true with search over the history of the internet, is that the more we use these things, the more easily and more quickly we can improve the data. So this is super useful as people think about what occupations they might be interested, to give them a quick snapshot of that occupation. At the bottom of the screen then, it provides the related areas of study. So if I want to pursue this occupation, what programs might I need to engage with in a post-secondary institution beyond my high school diploma to be able to participate in that occupation? And again, I know here to be an actuary, I need at least a bachelor's degree. So that combination of information is going to really help me start to chart a course to get from where I am today to ultimately that occupation. When we look at the program side of things, we have this great program detail with data from our state agencies. We can see how many students were enrolled in the most recent data within the state, how many students have completed. We see enrollment trends over the past few years, as well as the race and ethnic breakdown of people who've participated in these programs. We also, and this is super important, can see which institutions are offering this program, and we can see on the map, if we know where we live in the state, we can start to engage with the map and see which programs around us, or which institutions, excuse me, around us offer this program. And so there is a lot of information here on the profile page alone for each program. And so teaching end users to explore this in these regions, the data about students in the program first, is really, really, we think, a great value add of this site. In addition to the information that's displayed on the profile page, there is the enrollment tab, and that goes into further detail over the past few years about students in the program. And again, within these, there are additional layers of information. So if there are graduate and undergraduate programs, those are represented by the tabs at the top of the page. There's a pull-down menu. You can break down that enrollment even further. For example, enrollment by race, ethnicity, or by gender. There's the opportunity to print these pages or save them as a PDF, but also there's the opportunity to export data throughout the site into usable formats like a spreadsheet. And so that's one really unique feature that makes this super usable, not only for students and families, but also for researchers. And so that's been an important component of the site from its outset. There you can see, as we move to the completion data, again, an example with the pull down menu of all of the ways that you can disaggregate that data and understand it more deeply. The view changes when you've done that disaggregation to what's appropriate. So here, for example, by age, breaks it down into age categories. And so how many people, and obviously we have in an undergraduate focused program, we're going to expect to see many of our many of our students in between under 18 and probably the mid-20s age group. And so we can see that, and you've got these abilities to switch between the snapshot and then the trend line over time. And the snapshot, it'll tell you right there what year of data. So this is 2018, 2019 school year data, very, very recent data. One of the really cool things about this at the program is even within the program, there are obviously other programs that are similar and related to it. And you can get to those straight through the program details at the bottom of the page, which will allow you to connect with related areas of study or related occupations. So different things you might go into if you earn a degree, whether it be an associate degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's, a professional degree, or doctorate from these programs. And so the program details look like this, for example, telling you primary areas of study, general and specific areas of study, and then the related occupations. And this is an expanded view of what's available. And again, as we continue to work with the database of underlying data, as we continue to receive feedback from end users, we will continue to be able to work to improve what's displayed and how it's displayed over time. We've already talked about the institutions offering this program, but one of the things that's powerful and unique about this is in the context of Illinois, we can explore programs that are of interest to us, we can explore occupations that are of interest to us, and then we can very quickly get from those explorations to where I, as a student, can go to actually engage in this learning. And so that's the real power behind the IPP site is Path 2, the exploration of occupations, connects with Path 1, the institutional profile data, to get me into the institution that's going to make sense for what I want to study, where I live, etc.
So there are currently a number of ways for users to engage with the site and share their input, whether that's just questions as to what they're seeing or just specific comments. So you'll see here, just looking at a general kind of profile page, in this case, for the Path 2 occupational profiles, but there at the top banner, you see Contact Us. Feel free to reach out. Our development team checks what's coming in frequently, and given where the site is and its development, we are always looking to make improvements. You can also share any questions you have about the site in general, about those purposes and use cases I mentioned earlier, about the data that are available, and just what data may be available soon. And then there in the bottom right, you see feedback. So there are kind of the two ways. And we're definitely looking at this point in time for, how are users currently engaging with the site and what are current use cases for some of those stakeholder groups. Again, where the profiles is in its development, it's really an opportune time for users to share their feedback, to share their uses, because that information will help our team better create a resource and develop a resource that's of value to stakeholders. And so with that, we appreciate your time today, and we appreciate your interest in the Illinois Postsecondary Profiles site. On behalf of myself, of Jason, our NIU colleagues, and also our agency partners, we look forward to creating a resource that's of use to you and others in Illinois. Thank you.